Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel for another video. Today I am sitting down to share with you guys a really special video with a little story, just as a dose of encouragement for you as a homeschooling mom, and also to share with you guys what I would use in my homeschool if I was having more children and teaching the preschool ages again. And I want to thank The Good and the Beautiful for partnering with me on today's video, as well as partnering with me in my homeschooling journey all of these years. So I get asked that question a lot. Ashley, if you had a preschooler, what would you use? How would you do preschool? And we're going to get into that. But before we jump into kind of resources and what I would personally do if I had a preschool age child again, I want to share with you guys a little bit of a sweet story that God has done through my yes to homeschooling my own children, my own 4 children, the past, almost decade. So you guys know, if you follow my family on Instagram, that I have shared that my brother and sister-in-law had their first baby about 2.5 years ago, coming up on, and then they've had since another one. So they have 2 sweet little boys, and I love being an auntie. They're the cutest, and it's just been so much fun to get to watch my brother become a dad. But one thing that I didn't know that I was doing when I said yes to homeschooling my children was showing my brother and my sister-in-law, who are both products of the public education system and went on to college, that there's a different way. There's a different way to educate. There's a better way to educate. There's a safer way to educate. There's just so much goodness in homeschooling. They both have shared with me since they've watched me basically homeschool, as observers, not even as parents. They weren't parents until a few years ago. And they've both shared with me, which it really blessed my heart, that their exposure to homeschooling was very minimal before seeing our family do it, and that they honestly had some preconceived notions, like a lot of people do, about homeschooling when they maybe have not, seen the best example of what it looks like. Then everyone thinks that poor example represents the whole homeschooling group. And so they have shared with me that they probably would have never even considered the option of homeschooling for their own kids had I not paved the way, so to speak. So that is something that I cannot take credit for. That is something that God knew in His sovereignty that I was going to lead them into this, show my sister-in-law you can do it, show her resources that I find to be really wonderful, and be a knowledge and help source for her, which is something that I didn't have. So it is so wonderful to be able to bless them with the knowledge that I have now after home educating for a decade. And I will be there for them through it all. I'll be there to answer the questions, to hopefully ease doubts and fears. But I just want to share that story with you guys, because as you move into home education, you never know what God wants to do with your obedience to the calling of homeschooling your children. You never know what He's going to do. You never know what lives He's going to touch. You never know who's watching and observing you from afar. You never know the impact your family might be making on someone else. And in this case, my sister-in-law has decided that she does want to homeschool, and obviously he's a toddler now, so she's got a long way to go, but she's doing the right thing, which is just saying yes to homeschooling now, and God will be faithful to guide and equip her as she moves into those higher level grades. I think a lot of times younger moms get caught up in thinking about what high school is going to like. Meanwhile, their child is 4 years old, and there's a lot of life and a lot of learning that has to happen between 4 and high school, and you'll be ready for high school when it's time for high school. So you don't need to have all the answers now. You just need to know that this is the right thing for your family. So I wanted to share that sweet little story with you guys because it blesses me to know that I have been able to represent homeschooling well in the eyes of my brother and sister-in-law and encourage them that this is not only a good choice, but the best choice, I believe, for our children in this day and time that we are living in. So moving into the Ashley, what would you use if you had a preschooler again? Well, I would use everything that is in this box next to me from The Good and the Beautiful. Now, when I was homeschooling a preschooler, I did not even know The Good and the Beautiful has existed or existed at that time. And so I had to search and scour and try to pull different things from different places. And I think that having a few resources for a preschooler is wonderful, but I also do not believe in doing like a full curriculum, like a full school day at all. I definitely believe and encourage all of you who have preschool age children to follow your children's lead in the preschool and pre-K ages. Do not force them to sit down and do school. Do not make school something that they're begrudging against, like they don't want to do it, like it's time to sit down and do school. Don't paint it that way. Read books to your children, read wonderful literature to them, go outside and play, go on adventures as a family, do crafts if they like that, sit on the floor and be silly. Like, that is what preschool needs to be. But I do also recognize, and in the case of my children and in my nephew, who all of this will be for, some kids are interested and they want to participate. Now, in my case, when I started homeschooling, my youngest daughter was watching me homeschool my other 3 children. And so she wanted to be a part of that. So if you have a child that is expressing interest or desire, even if it's for a short duration of time, you want to have some really beautiful resources that are going to captivate them and expose them to, fun and beautiful color and just really user-friendly and easy for you as the mom as you just dip your toes into this homeschooling world. You don't need anything overcomplicated. So I sat down with my sister-in-law and talked with her about what she's seeing in my nephew and how she's wanting to encourage him in his learning and exploration of this world. And I told her that The Good and the Beautiful is where to go. She was already looking at things on their website and printing out some free things because she obviously was aware of them through me. But I have my nephew's whole preschool little box here that I want to share with you guys because I do get asked this a lot. If I could go back, what would I do? I would use resources from The Good and the Beautiful. I would read a ton of books. I would play outside. I would go on nature walks. I would go to the park. I would do some crafting and enjoy them because that is such a sweet, sweet age and you never, ever get those days back, even if it feels difficult. So let me show you what my sister-in-law is going to be using for homeschooling my cutie little nephew for preschool. So let me just get it out of this bubble wrap pack here. The Good and the Beautiful is so helpful because they have a whole section dedicated to preschool and it shows you what you might want to purchase if you are looking to homeschool a preschooler. So they have this super adorable book. This is Insect and Spider Mazes. You can wipe the ink and use this again and again, so it is reusable for all of the children. And this is really wonderful for teaching them those fine motor skills, how to follow the pattern, all the while looking at beautiful nature images. And like I said, there's some fun facts about the insect that they have down at the bottom. They are able to reuse. So we got some insect and spider mazes. The next little bundle that we grabbed for him is the mammals bundle for littles. So this can be used in conjunction with the mammal science unit that they have for grades 3 through 8. If you're a mom who has younger kids, you can get this specifically for your little ones. This comes with super cute. I don't want to untie the bow, but it's a small mammals flip book. There's another I Can Spy Mammals in Nature, and these are just beautiful images for your, and then the kangaroo, What Can You Do Kangaroo, which is a super cute book on mammals. And so this is a little science bundle specifically curated and cultivated for your preschooler and your young child. All of this could obviously be used anywhere from preschool into lower elementary, but for him, this is what we grabbed. The next thing, which I absolutely love, and I wish that they would have had this when my kids were younger because I think it's amazing, are these doodles and pre-writing books. There's part 1 and part 2. So these open this direction, obviously, and this is basically the beginning of handwriting. So did you know that the beginning of handwriting does not start with letter formation? It actually starts with lifting the pencil and completing a line and picking up the pencil. These are the basics of handwriting, the foundations of handwriting. And there's this sweet little certificate at the back of it so they can feel very special and you can take their picture. There's wave lines, and then obviously it progresses as the child gains those fine motor skills. So we got him both of these The Good and the Beautiful Doodles Part 1 and Part 2, which I think are so cute. Then they even have a poetry party for littles on insects and spiders. There's poems in here, and they have some different cookie and craft ideas. My sister-in-law is very crafty and loves throwing parties and events, so I can totally see her making some of these with my nephew, and I think that those are just going to be so fun for him. So this is an entire book of poetry on insects that they will have to begin their homeschooling library. There's also the Beetles flip book. This is from the science, type section, and then we have a butterfly flip book, so he can look at those. Now these are amazing. These are pre-K alphabet flip books, letters A through F, and then obviously the rest of the alphabet comes in the back. So I'm going to open these up just because I want to show you guys, because this is the kind of stuff that would have been so helpful to me when I was homeschooling my own preschooler, but we just didn't have it. So they come like this, and their letters are here with the picture, and they're nice and big. Sorry, I didn't realize I was out of frame. And so these are so cute to help them remember their alphabet and associate a picture with the letter. And they're very durable, and it's the entire alphabet, so it's a 4-book set. They're very durable, and that is important. The next thing that we have is the Science for Little Hands and Little Hearts set. There's fields and flowers, and then the parent guide for this. So this is basically like an introductory science course, but really just learning more about what they can walk out in their own backyard and observe. And so I would, if I was homeschooling my nephew, but also, if I were to homeschool a preschooler again, I would do this maybe once or twice a week just for fun, but it's just about getting outside and letting your kids learn to observe the beauty that surrounds them. And then the last little thing. I have another stack in here, but this is the Mouse House Preschool Folder Activities, and it is meant to be used with the Good and the Beautiful preschool course. So this is sturdy. It's a folder. It contains all of your letter cards, the different things that you're going to want to hang on to. They keep it right here, so it's nice and easy and ready for you to pull out. That's the other thing that I want to mention, just in case any of you guys who are watching this are getting ready to homeschool a preschooler, is that the Good and the Beautiful's curriculum is open and go. There is not a ton of prep work, very minimal. I mean, I would glance at what I was going to do the next day just to make sure, but there's not going to be a ton of work because that is a busy season of being a mom, and you need something simple and easy. So I would just put all of these little materials in a basket, let my preschooler choose what they wanted to pull out of it each day. And again, never forcing, never making school something negative. You're laying the foundation for the future of their learning, and that is so, so important to follow their lead. So the next thing that I have to show you guys is the actual preschool course book. So this is the preschool course. This covers colors, letters and sounds, matching, motor skills, numbers, rhyming, shapes, and sorting. So they have it laid out for you by lesson. Now again, don't think that if you're on lesson 10 and it's 2 pages and your preschooler only wanted to do this part, that you need to force them to sit down to finish lesson 10. No, just go back to it the next day, so work your way through this. It's beautifully colored. It's engaging for their eyes. So many fun pictures and illustrations to look at. And it, of course, has the sections that tell you, what you're to read to the child. So you don't have to think, I don't know how to teach. Yes, you do. All you need to do is read this and have really great resources, and you will be an amazing preschool homeschooling mama. The next thing are the preschool practice sheets that have the letters. Let me show you guys. It's falling. All of these. The preschool set will tell you when to use these, but they're nice and big cutouts. This is the kind of stuff that I was having to scour Pinterest for late at night to find for my preschooler because this course was not around back when I was homeschooling preschool. So I wanted to share with you guys that is what I would use. If I was to do it all over again, I would absolutely use the Good and the Beautiful's resources. They have blessed my homeschool. And if I could go back and do it again, which I think every mom with teenagers, spends time thinking about, I would absolutely love to. But hopefully I will get to be a part of my nephew's homeschooling journey and support them, help them in any way that I can. And the first way to do that was to point them to the Good and the Beautiful. So just be reminded that you don't have to have it all figured out if you're a homeschooling preschool mama. You do not have to know what you're going to do in high school. You just need to continue to love your children and provide them with beautiful things and take them outside and just enjoy being with them. And I am so excited to see my sister-in-law expressing that same desire for my nephews. So I wanted to share this video with you guys. I hope it was helpful. If you are looking for any preschool resources, I will link to the Good and the Beautiful's preschool section down below for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys again really soon. Bye, friends.